You're tuned in to Rebooting Liberty.
Have you ever wanted to have your own radio show? Rebooting Liberty Radio Network currently has openings for live programs. For a very small fee, we will create a show intro, bumper music, and provide technical production for your hour-long show. Email producer@rebootingliberty.com for details. You can find us at live.rebootingliberty.com.
This is the TK Radio Network.
Laugh, laugh!
I believe that a person's moral compass can be determined by how he references free men the right to defend themselves.
Broadcasting live from a new and shiny TK Radio studio, I am your host, covered in sheetrock dust and off-white paint, Mr. William Sommers, and leaning against his shovel with an off-colored grin is the way smarter than me, Mr. Peter Gunn. How you doing, Peter?
Wow, jeez. Hold on here. Let me get that off your nose. You buttered me up pretty good.
Oh, I thought I was being a jerk.
New studio.
It is the best.
It is exciting, man. It's got that new studio smell and everything.
That's not new studio smell. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, I was going to say it does smell kind of like a dead rat, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, we got so much more room here. We're going to start doing some video productions and...
yeah, here's the problem with video. I've got a face for radio.
Yeah, I know. That's why we're not going to allow you to
good.
partake in... You might be behind the camera, but not on the camera.
Okay, sounds fair.
Does that sound reasonable?
Perfect.
Hey, let's start things out right with a prayer.
Okay.
A couple of them. We're going to do a couple tonight.
We're going to do... Okay, we're feeling...
Yeah, we're going to do we're going to do our traditional prayer, and then we're going to do a pseudo-real prayer.
So which one do you want me to do? You want me to do the traditional one?
Let's do the traditional one.
Okay.
You ready?
A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Amen, brother. Hey, so on to the less traditional and the real prayer, because as you know, we are... What are you looking at? Oh, well, I don't think you have to worry about that. It's new studio stuff. Just throw it on the floor. It'll plug itself in. Well, you can hear me, right?
I can hear you, but not me.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, we got new studio problems all of a sudden. Not sure why you can't hear. I can't hear you.
All right. Well, I pulled this thing out of wherever this came from.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what you did wrong. Oh, you're blowing my entire thing this time. No, that doesn't. No, you don't put that in.
What the heck happened?
Well, if you just talk aimlessly for a second, I can take a look.
Holy cow! I must have hit a wire.
Yeah, that one right there, the silver one right there. Hand that one to me, and you will magically you will magically be back on air.
Okay, bear with me, everybody. We got it. What happened was I rolled the chair over the mic wire and yanked it out of the back of the mixer. So
yes, that's
okay.
That's
so
that's
I'm not going to move.
Yeah, you're frozen in stasis. It's Star Wars right here.
You're saying, well, this is the wire I found, and I don't know what this thing goes.
That's a power wire to the discombobulator, which you have apparently been using heavily.
Is that the thing that's connected to the gonculator valve?
Yeah,
and it's adjusted by the thermostat.
Yeah. But you know what? You have to make sure that every change you make, you have to route it through the circumlocution office.
Okay. Let's get on with the show. I've already screwed us up enough.
You know what? You kind of pooched me here because I had this very nice prayer that I was going to tell.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can we start over and do your prayer, please?
Because yesterday was Veterans Day.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Very important.
Lord, I can't even do it without humor. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Lord, you moved upon men to establish this great nation. You stirred men to hope and to dream for a free land. We praise you for this great nation. Amen.
Amen. That was great.
Yeah, you like that? I pulled that up in I don't know. There wasn't a whole lot of effort that went into that.
Okay.
So, yesterday we paid tribute to our men and women formerly in uniform, the veterans of this country.
Sure. Actually, anyone who's currently in is
I was just going to say, you can consider them veterans as well if you're
pretty
still
much. As an old Marine once explained to me, he says, you're a hero the day you sign up. Everything after that's the job.
Fair enough. And, I also pulled up a little bit of Reagan.
Oh.
You want to hear Reagan? Because Ronald Reagan is a way better orator. But how do you spell that? Orator than I.
Orator.
Yeah.
Yes.
Orator.
Why don't we put him on?
Yeah, let's do that.
A few moments ago, I placed a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. And as I stepped back and stood during the moment of silence that followed, I said a small prayer. And it occurred to me that each of my predecessors has had a similar moment, and I wondered if our prayers weren't very much the same, if not identical. We celebrate Veterans Day on the anniversary of the armistice that ended World War I. The armistice that began on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. And I wonder, in fact, if all Americans' prayers aren't the same as those I mentioned a moment ago. For all we can ever do for our heroes is remember them and remember what they did, and memories are transmitted through words. We see these soldiers in our mind as old and wise. We see them as something like the founding fathers, grave and gray-haired. But most of them were boys when they died, and they gave up two lives, the one they were living and the one they would have lived. When they died, they gave up their chance to be husbands and fathers and grandfathers. They gave up their chance to be revered old men. They gave up everything for our country, for us. And all we can do is remember. There's always someone who is remembering for us. No matter what time of year it is or what time of day, there are always people who come to this cemetery, leave a flag or a flower or a little rock on a headstone. And they stop and bow their heads and communicate what they wished to communicate. I think sometimes of General Matthew Ridgway, who, the night before D-Day, tossed sleepless on his cot and talked to the Lord and listened for the promise that God made to Joshua. I will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. We are surrounded today by the dead of our wars. We owe them a debt we can never repay. All we can do is remember them and what they did and why they had to be brave for us. All we can do is try to see that other young men never have to join them. Today, as never before, we must pledge to remember the things that will continue the peace. Today, as never before, we must pray for God's help in broadening and deepening the peace we enjoy. Let us pray for freedom and justice and a more stable world. And let us make a compact today with the dead. A promise in the words for which General Ridgway listened: I will not fail thee nor forsake thee.
Wow, we really turned that one right around. We went from silly to serious to sad to somber.
Sure.
And can you believe that it's been, how long has it been since Reagan was left office? The last time we as America had the opportunity to actually vote for president we liked as conservatives has been what? Since 1984.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, 1984. So here we are, 2015. So 10, 25 years, 30 years. My math, I went to public school. Math is hard.
Well, you know what? We could use it with the Common Core math. If you do that, then the answer would be
blue. It's always blue.
Blue and, 13 blue banana.
13 blue banana. You know what? You make a strong argument. You're correct, sir. Hey, and back to Silly.
Let me show you how I did my work.
I actually heard a little bit of weepiness in his voice when he was talking there.
Yeah.
So, hey, we got ourselves some snark tonight.
Yes, we do.
We got ourselves the old bottle of Angel's Envy, and as you recall, we got this bottle at the passing of another veteran just about a year ago now. Is it?
A year ago, as a matter of fact, his birthday was yesterday.
Is that right?
Would have been 20 years old.
Oh, good grief. So we're going to grab ourselves a little glass of this Angel's Envy. We're going to tap the glasses because, that's what high society, polite society people do.
Pinky in the air.
Oh, pinky in the air. Tap it again.
We go.
Yeah, we got to do it twice. And we're going to take a sip of this whole Angel's Envy, which has now been aged for a year.
A year. Lance Corporal Brandon Garibrandt.
I'd pour a little on the ground for him, but I just laid the carpet. Sorry, Lance Corporal, but I happen to know that you probably stole a little bit out the evaporative cap there over the course of the last year. So,
all righty. So,
oh, Tara, come on! You're not actually insinuating that the weepiness that we heard in Reagan's voice during that speech was due to the fact that he was an actor? Oh, come on! You
remember the old John Lovett character, Master Thespian, on Saturday Night Live?
No.
Acting.
Yes, I do remember.
I was acting.
I don't think that was acting. I think that was genuine. I think that Reagan was the genuine deal in front of the camera.
Alrighty.
So
let's move on. You got some headlines for us, or what are we doing?
I got a few headlines. If you want to give me just a moment to reacclimate, do the OODA. The OODA thing. I got
the OODA loop.
The OODA loop. I got to observe, orient, something.
Decide and act.
Yeah.
I was paying attention when you said that. Silly me.
Hat tip to guns.com. Cook County moving forward with ammo tax proposal. They want to add a $25 per firearm tax, a 5 cent per round on ammunition, and on rimfire cartridges it's going to be a penny. So explain to me how this stops anything. Well, it really doesn't. What they're trying to do here is they're trying to fund something to offset the cost of gun crime through this tax. So they think that doing this is going to somehow...
So we're going to tax the people who didn't commit the crimes to pay for the crimes that somebody else committed.
That's correct. Typical, isn't it?
That's some Common Core right there.
Yeah, it sure is. And
you know what the problem with these people is?
Huh?
It's that two-stage thinking. They don't have it. I keep saying that.
Yeah.
So here's what they say. Oh, people buy ammunition and firearms in Cook County. If we put this tax on, they sell this many firearms, we'll get this much tax revenue. It occurs to them not.
No.
People will go somewhere else where they don't have to pay the tax.
Oh, yeah, you're already starting to see some of the neighboring, dealers going, I'm going to have a sale.
Yeah.
And it's going to be full price minus their tax.
Oh, yeah.
Which means that it's just going to be the regular price, but, the ad is going to be, hey, come here. You can get your ammo for tax-free.
Whatever the next county is.
Right, exactly.
I mean, Indiana is 45 minutes from Chicago.
It's not a bad drive if you need to get ammo.
Okay. I was working not that long ago in Gary, Indiana.
Yeah.
You could see the Chicago skyline from where I was standing in Gary.
Here's a point that somebody had made earlier today is let's say that they're going to use this money and actually use it to offset the cost of gun crimes. So if you got to roll the police out, there's a cost to that. There's an ambulance, there's a cost to that.
It's called, we already pay for that service.
Right. So if they're going to use this to pay for that, does that mean that we have to pay less to the original service? No.
Silly boy. Reduce the tax?
No. So
we'll spend it on something else.
Exactly. Which makes it a de facto slush fund. That's what this is. It becomes
and it's a poll tax.
And a poll tax. And it will only make it more difficult for people who can afford it the least, which in their neighborhood, I believe, will disproportionately affect who? Minorities.
But only requiring them to show an ID is suppressing them. This isn't suppress a right.
No. Yeah, and yes, Sarah, that is why Massachusetts residents go to New Hampshire to buy their ammo, which also happens to be why.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be able to sell it to Massachusetts. People
Yeah.
sell rifle ammo, but not handgun
Yeah,
ammo.
they can sell rifle ammo. And as a matter of fact, with the 22 long rifle, they ask you, is this for a handgun or for a rifle? And as long as you answer correctly, they'll sell it to you.
And what's really funny is some of the places you go to,
Yeah.
they'll ask you, is this for a rifle, and nod their head up and down, or a handgun and nod their head back and forth?
Right. It's always for a rifle. Yes.
Yes.
Even my pistol is a rifle. Simple as that. So that is that up in Cook County. Cook
County, pretty much.
Yeah.
Freudian slip there.
Oh, there's been all kinds of them. I mean, there was one, I think it was 3 or 4 days ago, where they wanted to just straight up outright ban assault rifles. But here's where it gets typical.
What you can't hear is me rolling my eyes. Every time we
Yeah.
talk about assault, the word assault comes out in reference to firearms. I just roll my eyes because here we go again.
They want to define what assault rifle is as, X, Y, and Z, which essentially covers every rifle. Any rifle that has a detachable magazine, any rifle that can take more than, I think, 8 rounds, a thumb hole in the stock is considered an assault rifle. Yeah, they're just playing with the definitions again. That's what they do, is they play with the definitions.
Right. Because, it's so funny. You keep hearing about how everyone was, we need to have a national conversation on firearms. And the problem is you can't have a conversation with somebody that deluded. You just can't. It's like if you wanted to talk about wildlife conservation, and they say, we need to have a national conversation on wildlife conservation. You sit down and say, okay. And they go, yes, we want to talk about the conservation and breeding programs to reintroduce into the wild the sparkling unicorn. And, of course, I say that as Angela Joyce.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
So you sit down and you go like, well, how am I supposed to have a conversation with you when there is no wild sparkling unicorn to conserve or to start a breeding program with?
I'm waiting for Angela to chime in on the unicorn thing in 3, 2, 1. Oh, I'm disappointed. No comment.
It's just a delay in the thing. She's got it. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, well, how are you supposed to have a conversation?
There it is. Oh, no, that was something completely. Oh, she says, nah, she has no comment. Fine. Majestic unicorn has nothing to say. Okay.
That's a majestic unicorn, not a sparkling unicorn.
Right.
Or talking about the conservation rights of the Loch Ness Monster in America. You can't have these national conversation with somebody who just makes crap up.
You mean like me?
Yeah, but we make up crap based on facts.
Speak for yourself.
I got into an interesting conversation with someone the other day. They were talking about the Pacific Trade Treaty. Is that what it is? The PTT?
Yeah,
something like that. And quite frankly,
the STD.
I didn't really know much about it. And this actually goes back to something that Angela once said. I've never letting her live it down ever. She was explaining that to somebody that, somebody said something about me knowing a lot about this stuff. And she goes, yeah, but that's all he knows. And I heard a term recently. Called subject matter expert. And that companies will have like one person who really knows something about this.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the point, is that we need to have subject matter experts who are different at different things. I mean, I get challenged recently again by a family member who said, all you care about is some damn guns. It's not the guns I care about. It's the rights that we have. It's what the guns protect that I care about. It's the idea that we have them.
Yep.
Because without, and I've always said this, the Constitution of the United States is a piece of paper if you don't have a way of backing it up.
That's all it is. I mean,
you can't, as soon as you try to tell them, anybody this, or sit down and walk them through it, tinfoil hat, black helicopters, blah, blah, blah. So there you go.
You know what I usually come back to them with is, why don't you tell me about the wheel in the sky? Or how about how George Bush blew up the levee? Yeah, it keeps on turning. Oh, you don't know about the wheel in the sky, Farrakhan? Farrakhan believes there's a wheel in the... Yeah.
I was just singing the Journey song, The Wheel in the Sky.
Oh, that's what always comes to my mind. Or Bush blew up the levees, or 9/11 was an inside job, or, I mean, we could go on and on and on
I
about
told you
left-wing...
I had the conversation with a black guy who said that Bush blew up the levees to flood out the black people.
Yeah.
I looked at him and I said, do you understand that makes absolutely no sense to a white supremacist? He's like, well, what do you mean? I said, that is absolutely the dumbest thing. No white supremacist on earth would want that.
No.
He goes, well, why not? I said, because all the black people are in one place. White supremacists like that idea. You're over there, we're over here, you stay there, we stay here. By flooding you out and spreading black people all over the place, that is counterintuitive for white supremacists. So it was not a racist
You
act.
know what? You know who else actually
argue that
holds that view? Are
White supremacists?
Palestinians. They like the idea of an Israel where all the Jews are.
So they can get them all at once.
So they don't have to chase them across the globe. It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing.
Sure.
Palestinians, Ku Klux Klan, I can't tell much of the difference. Can you?
I'm a terrorist. Did you know?
Oh?
Did we talk about this last week?
A little bit.
Dan Gross decided to call.
Oh, that's
we
right.
don't negotiate with terrorists.
Yeah.
That's right. We don't negotiate with them either. What else you got in the headlines? Anything else?
Headline: 6-time felon killed by 13-year-old during home invasion. So this guy who has 2 convicted felons intent on breaking into a Ladson, South Carolina home Tuesday afternoon were met with surprise when they came face to face with a 13-year-old armed with a gun. According to the reports, the Post and Courier. By the way, hat tip to guns.com.
Of course.
I gotta plug this. Those guys are awesome. Mm-hmm. The young boy, who is not being identified, was home alone when he grew suspicious of a car that pulled up outside around 1:30 p.m. So right in the middle of the afternoon. Moments later, the 2 suspects went to...
Two suspects.
2 suspects. I'll make a point on that one in a second. Moments later, the 2 suspects went to the back of the house and attempted to break in. At such time, the boy, fearing for his safety, grabbed his mother's handgun. They exchanged gunfire. The 6-time felon was killed. I think the other one was picked up later on. The happy ending to this story is that the child was completely unharmed.
Excellent.
The intruders were armed and failed to make their target. So yet another example of how a good guy with a gun has never stopped. Oh, wait, that's not true.
The data shows it never happened.
Yep, and that's correct, Angela. The taxpayer relief shot. That 13-year-old. And prayers to this kid.
That's got to mess you up. You don't just walk away from a thing like that.
No, you don't. No
matter how right it was.
To look somebody in the face coming towards you and
I
have
know
to
cops that have been screwed up on that.
Yeah, so he's injured no matter what way you want to cut it now. So I will certainly say a prayer for him. Anyways, so that's that headline. Another headline from 6abcnews.com. Police, New Jersey man impersonated soldier on Veterans Day.
Okay, this is where I would like to bring back public flogging.
Oh, not just flogging. You know what? I'm going to become a Palestinian and turn to caning. Yeah, they do that whole caning. No, they do the beheading? Oh, Singapore.
Singapore.
Okay, I'm Singaporean.
That kid years ago.
I'm a singer. So, no. No, I'm not.
That's a face palm in case anyone didn't hear it. You hurt my head.
This guy, there's something missing in this guy's life.
Yeah.
There absolutely is. To put on, I'm looking at the picture of this guy. He's got airborne patch, the red, white, and blue backwards flag, his name. Oh, and he's got MP on the other shoulder.
You wouldn't be airborne in an MP, would you?
I don't know the answer to that.
I think somebody went to the Army-Navy store.
That's what it looks like to me.
I have a friend of mine. He was a vet, and he Air Force vet. And if he saw you wearing camo pants, he'd go, "Hey, those are cool pants."
Oh, yeah?
You buy them or earn them?
I bought them.
Yeah. That's it. He goes, "Oh, okay." At least you were honest with him. He doesn't have anything against you, but if you earned him, he wants to, say hello.
Yeah, so they actually arrested this guy, which...
Sure.
Unto itself, I have a problem with. What he did was incredibly piggish.
Right.
It was an insult to those who actually earned.
Yeah.
But I don't know that it's actually a crime. As a matter of fact,
why wouldn't it be? Impersonating a soldier?
Because stolen valor. Well, this is actually, I think you're right.
Think about it. If you impersonate a cop, you can cause damage impersonating a cop. Okay, impersonate. How often do you hear about anyone getting busted for impersonating a firefighter? You don't, because there's not a lot of trouble they could cause. But a soldier could gain access to a base, collect VA benefits. I don't know, collect VA benefits may be a stretch, but certainly could get material gain out of the fraud. So yeah, it should be illegal.
This is, you know what? I think that there's a split here because it's not illegal stolen valor is not illegal. It's gone to the Supreme Court. You can make those claims till you're blue in the face.
And I mean, you can go to an Army Navy store and dress up, but I think the minute you try and tell somebody
that you are actually a soldier, I think that crosses into impersonation.
I was with it was a technical rescue team, and a lot of the guys were ex-military, and they liked us using the jungle camouflage pattern. I mean, we had our own patches on it.
Yeah.
And this is back before SWAT teams started wearing all this stuff either. And we ended up doing a joint training exercise with an Army Reserve unit.
Yeah.
We also had a black uniform, black tacticals, and then we had the green, the jungle. We were in the same pattern they were.
Yeah.
And I remember one of the sergeants just kind of looked at me, eyeballed, and I said to him, listen, the guys who founded this unit were Vietnam vets. They earned the stuff. They made the decision would wear it. I said, believe me, I'm not comfortable wearing this around you guys because I did not serve in the military. You guys are.
Right.
And the sergeant kind of looked at me and goes, fair enough. I said, but on the other hand, I said, orders are orders.
Yeah.
This was uniform of the day, and we're wearing it.
So this guy apparently has been arrested prior for eluding police, theft, illegal possession of weapon. This guy.
So he's no good to begin with.
Yeah, he's no good to begin with.
Let's move along. We've given him enough. What else you got?
Agreed. This is my favorite headline of the day. You ready for this one?
Sure.
Headline: NRA got their hands on a smart gun. Report that it's not.
We're going to be talking about smart guns tonight, actually.
Yeah. I like that headline, because smart guns are not smart. They're not smart at all. It's a dumb thing. I can see perhaps, someday a use for it in some fashion, but to push it in the fashion that they're pushing it, not bright. Not bright at all.
Not at all.
So, yeah.
What, you got something else?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're going to move off of the headlines here for a second. Did you know I got a phone call earlier?
Yeah,
today?
You made a remark about the Patriots last week, didn't you?
I did. And
I warned you were probably going to get a call.
I did. I got a call from
I could tell by the look on your face. Who called you?
Donnie.
Yeah.
He was like driving or something, so I could hear all the road noise, but you could tell he was all worked up, which is strange because it sounded like it was early in the morning, and I didn't realize he was up that early.
No. If he called you early in the morning, it's because he hasn't been to bed yet. It's
probably
after the last call.
Then he must have had a double espresso because he was.
You know what?
Wound up.
There used to be a bar in Lowell.
No,
I think it was called the Tavern on the Bridge or something like the Bridge Tavern.
It was the Tavern Keepers.
Like yeah. Anyway, the thing was they couldn't be open 24 hours a day,
right?
Because of the
blue laws.
Ordinance.
Yeah.
So they had it closed for 45 minutes every day, and they did it first thing in the morning. And so for 45 minutes, you see all the drunks stand on the sidewalk and wait to go back in. I never saw anything like it. Anyway,
all right, let's. I'm gonna play for you a little Donnie here.
Hey, Sommers, Donnie Murphy. Hey, listen, I'm trying out my new Bluetooth here in the car. Of course, Bluetooth was invented in Maine because it was invented anywhere else, it would have been a blue teeth. Anyway, listen, don't think I didn't hear what you said about the Patriots last week and other football teams and all that. I got a knock-knock joke for you. Ready? Knock-knock. Who's there? Aiden. Aiden who? Aiden, Patriots are 8-0, and don't you forget it. I will not put up with you having disparaging remarks to say about my beloved Patriots. Not the Red Sox, not the Bruins, not the Celtics, and not even the New England Revolution like anyone goes to see them. You understand me? If you keep this crap up, I'm going to go down there, and you're not going to be able to eat solid food for a year. You understand me?
Okay, Don.
All right, good.
Wow.
So
I'm telling you, man, this is not the year to mess with him. Deflategate, he took that personal.
Oh, did you see the CoinGate now?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. CoinGate. So apparently the Patriots have won the coin toss at the beginning of the games too many times. And
the coin's the refs toss.
They're doing the math, and it was like statistically 0.07% possibility of winning that many times. So they're like, oh, they must have done something to the coin. They're just pecking at something. I think they just need to go back to the Colgate. So,
all right.
Yeah, all right.
Enough out of that.
What do you have for us now that we've gotten through all the stupid stuff?
Before we get to the smart guns, this is sort of an interesting little thing that kind of almost went by the wayside, and I think that they wanted it to. Maryland has had a ballistics fingerprinting thing for a long time. Ballistics fingerprinting was a form of gun control alchemy.
Yeah.
It was believed that if you collected a fired shell casing from every gun you sell
Right.
and put it into a giant database,
Right.
that as soon as a crime was committed, you could match it to one of the guns you have, one of the bullets you have in your database, and then drive straight to the guy's house and arrest him.
That doesn't work.
So, the headline, this is from the Washington Times,
Okay.
which I apparently confused with the Washington Post because they have the same script for their logos. I apparently I was confused on this. So, Maryland guts gun control, quote, ballistic fingerprints, end quote, program after 0 hits in 15 years. $5 million, it didn't do a damn thing.
No, of course it didn't do anything.
And the problem is now they have an entire basement of a building full of all these samples, and they're trying to sell them as scrap now.
That's a lot of lead. $15 million. And I'm guessing. I'm just taking a guess here, but
So they quietly ended it.
is that you?
Jeez.
That's you. That's not me.
Good God.
Anyways, so
There we go. It's that stupid autoplay.
you know,
May
if
the
we
fleas of 1,000 camels infect his armpits. Jeez, whoever came up with that.
if we ever find the guy, they came up with autoplay. They're gonna finally get a hit in that database, and it's gonna lead back to.
So
somebody.
anyway, they found 24 cases in 15 years that they actually could link the bullets to a gun. However, they already had the gun recovered and the guy in arrest. So it did absolutely no good. They didn't solve a single crime. A ballistics fingerprint program. Remember, this was the biggest thing. And there was one woman I wanted to track down because I saw a video clip of her. It was on an NRA video. And it was some woman who lost her son. And she was standing at a podium in front of concerned citizens. You know, one of those photo ops that the anti-gunner set up.
Yeah.
And she said, maybe if there had been a ballistics fingerprinting system, my son would not have had to die. And I can't figure out how the logic would work there. It just means you'd catch who killed your son, not that he wouldn't have been shot.
How does that work? It does. It just doesn't work.
It just, you know.
It's kind of like saying, if you had airbags in your car, perhaps you wouldn't have gotten into that accident. Pretty much the same, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
And you know what? I almost think that we should just. I have a name for it. It's called "That's Not the Point." You know, that's not the point. You know, you have somebody tell you, "Oh, well, you know that guy at Newtown, he shot up all those kids. We should have a universal background check." Really? He stole the guns from the person who owned them, so he wouldn't have had to pass a background check. How would that have stopped him? That's not the point.
That's not the point.
It's never the point.
No, of course it's not the point.
All righty.
Is that why I can remember back in the 90s buying pistols, and it always came with two empty shell casings. And I thought that it was just the proof rounds.
No, those are the proof rounds.
Oh, okay.
My Glock came with them.
Oh, okay, so those are proof rounds.
Yeah, those are
aren't
proof rounds. Yeah, no. But the manufacturer would have to.
You know, here's the
send
other
them.
thing.
Sure.
Here's the other thing with those proof rounds that you're talking about. What the premise is you fire a round through the bullet. You got these unique grooves in the bullet, unique to that gun.
Sure.
And then if there's a crime, you can match the grooves from the crime gun to the ones in the database.
But it's like a lot of other stuff with them. It's a great theory, but in practice, it absolutely doesn't work.
Well, forget about the not being able to catch anybody with it. The characteristics of the barrel are going to change over time.
Oh, you think?
So if I buy this gun brand new, and you know, being as I am who I am, I put 4,000 rounds through it in a couple years. Those grooves are no longer going to match. That it's dumb at every level. It's as dumb as a ammo tax. It doesn't stop or prevent anything. It just lines the pockets of whoever came up with this brilliant idea. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. It's just to line their pockets.
I mean, I'm all for lining pockets, but you know, you need to sell us something of value.
Well,
this wasn't of value.
There's a difference between lining your pockets with profits you earned and lining your pockets at the behest of a regulation. They're using the force of government, which is not a suggestion. It is, you will do this. They are using government for commercial purposes.
Well, do you remember we talked? This is going back to one of the earliest times when we started this show.
Yeah,
we were talking about the guy who wanted to micro stamp each round.
And that was where I was going to go next.
Yeah, but the way the guy did it was he created this technology and then kind of said, well, I have to charge something for it. My investors insist upon it. I would do it for free.
Yeah, bull.
And then
do it for free.
Right. But then he created this grassroots, air quotes, because everything with them, grassroots, is always fake. But he, I should stop looking over. To
yeah,
the
stop looking at the Snark Brigade. I'll be talking about that in a second.
Brigade. So, then he created this group about where you could share your story of how this. So he was supposed to say, "Oh, look, there's this groundswell of grassroots support for this thing." He was stirring that up, and he got called out on it. He says, "Well, yeah, I should probably make that on the link and link it between the two," and he never did.
No, of course
he was
not.
a fake.
Yeah, he's completely.
He was a fraud. He was trying to say, "Oh, well, it only cost a extra cent a box or whatever," and yet
it's always just a cent more. It's always just this small amount, and you know what it is?
What?
They get their way. Their Airfingers quote 1 cent increase or this little tiny little bit. And you know what? It's going to run a little bit more expensive than we had originally thought. It's going to be 2 cents. And then 5 years later, it's
look
half
at the
the
long
cost.
gun registry. It was supposed to. The long gun registry in Canada was supposed to be like $4 million.
Yeah.
$5 billion later, it still didn't work.
Oh, why don't we ask Donnie about the Big Dig?
Oh, jeez.
I bet Donnie could have a couple things about the Big Dig. Talk about slush fund or Amtrak or any of these things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, but microstamping, as you're saying, where what they're doing is they're engraving a number on the firing pin of the gun so that when it strikes the primer, it imprints it.
Right. And do you know how big the
leaky dig, yeah.
Leaky dig. Do you know how big the firing pin for, say, a 1911 is?
Not very big.
It looks like a small nail, like a craft nail, like you used in Cub Scouts.
It's like an 8-penny nail.
Yeah. No, tiny.
Yeah.
And so you could smuggle, now instead of having to smuggle a gun, you just smuggle those. You carry a handful in your pocket, nobody'd even know.
Forget about that part.
You could file them.
Let me refer back to the round sampling, where you put 2,000 rounds through a gun and the barrel characteristics are going to change. You put 2,000 rounds on a firing pin with a microstamp, there's no microstamp left at the end of that.
Okay, and let me ask you a question. You pick up the round at the scene, and there's a microstamp on it. How do you know that gun belongs to me?
You don't. That's the other thing.
Well, yeah, you do. How do you know?
Well, because of the registry.
Because of the registry. Once again, everything circulates back around to getting lists of people who own guns.
And it doesn't work in these particular cases because if you, let's say hypothetically, you picked up the casing, it's got the microstamp, it's got the sample, it's got all the indicators, it all points to you as owning the gun. Now you have to prove that you're the one that was holding the gun at the time of the shooting, which is very, very unlikely.
And then what you do is you find out that 2 days before it had been stolen.
Right, exactly.
In a home break-in.
Exactly, which had already been
reported. Or it had
been
stolen 5 years. I mean, they just don't, again, two-stage thinking. All they can see is that little piece right then and there.
Yep, I tend to agree with that.
Moving right along, speaking of can't see anything else. Oh, you had something you wanted to talk about.
Yes, the chat has brought this to my attention, and they're absolutely correct. There are places that have good schools. And to give you an example, my much better looking than I came home one day, and she said there were a bunch of young men walking down the street near our child's school with shotguns. And I thought to myself, okay, not really a big deal. Why are you bringing this to my attention? I don't really care. And as it turns out that those young men walking down the street with their shotguns were the students of that school on the shotgun team.
Yeah, baby. Something tells me that is not a public school, because if it was a public school,
you would be on lockdown.
Lenco Bearcat would be parked out front.
Oh, yeah. So there are places in this country where shotgun teams and rifle teams and things that are actually good and healthy for children still exist. And that's a very healthy thing. We did a little parent-teacher conference, you know, the parent-teacher conference, right? And we went down to the art class, And you remember back in art class, way back a couple centuries ago, the black pieces of paper that you do the scratch art, where you scratch the black paper and it reveals the white, and you can draw pictures that way?
Indie ink.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, you used to be able to, what you do is you'd paint colors, like a colored background, like rainbow colors in the background covered over with indie ink, then scratch it and it would show the colors from underneath.
Yeah, it's same concept, except this is just black.
You realize that I was taking art class so long ago that Pablo Picasso actually taught the class?
Then why aren't you better? I got you.
Zero artistic talent. None.
So my point being is I looked down on the table of, a display of all the students' art, and one of them happened to be a very good AR.
Nice.
Black on white, AR.
Nice.
And I was looking at this going, where's the art teacher? I got to talk to the art teacher. And at first she was like, she was almost apologetic. She thought that I was going to go, you're not allowed to have that. And I was like, no, that's cool. I like having my child come to this school for that reason right there, because that
Excellent.
right there means that this school is
tolerant of all beliefs.
Not only tolerant of all beliefs, but not a school of rice paper people.
Right.
They are not thin-skinned people. These are hardy people who see things for what they actually are and don't get all worked about stupid stuff like Pop-Tart guns or pretend bow and arrows, things of that nature. So, yes, I know the story's different. Thank you. But I just tell it that way because I'm me. That's just the way I do it.
All righty.
Oh, and they had political debates in 8th grade. Like in their history classes?
Oh, we used to, too. Then they
you?
decided they didn't like the history we were talking about because it was true, and that doesn't support revisionist history. Yeah, you want to tell me revisionist history about Pearl Harbor when my grandfather was a Pearl Harbor vet? Guess what? Bite me.
Yeah, actually, the teacher was saying that some of the students, because he would hand out these, little political,
Sure.
position sheets of all the candidates for the upcoming election, and some of the students liked Rand Paul.
Okay.
Some of the people liked Ben. A lot of the students liked Ben Carson.
Sure.
The art technique was not. Whatever.
Focus.
Some of the students liked Ted Cruz, and I'm listening to him tell me this, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm waiting for it. Wait for it. And it never came. And I said to him, what? No Hillary supporters? And he looks at me and goes, I was trying not to show too much approval on that.
There you go.
A like-minded teacher in a like-minded school in a like-minded state. I love America.
Yeah.
Well,
at least our corner of it.
My little piece of it.
So, anyway, smart guns. Or as
Dum 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 dum.
Or as Donnie would call them, smart guns.
Oh, smart guns.
Smart, wicked smart.
What's so smart about a smart gun?
Now, what was going on, again, there's that lack of two-stage thinking. Oh, we're going to put forth this law that says as soon as they're marketed, within 3 years, the only guns you can own are smart guns.
New Jersey.
Well, right. And then, of course, everyone went, well, then we're not going to make any because that's a bad plan.
Yeah.
And then somebody finally splained them on that. You remember, like, Ricky Ricardo and Lucy?
Yeah.
Lucy, you have splaining to do. Anyway, so then somebody finally explained to him that by forcing people into it, no one's going to do it.
That's correct.
So they tried to back off of that, but they didn't like that. And there is this absolute Yoda. Can I ask a question?
Wicked smart guns.
There you go. Why do progressive women all look like Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars? Is it that much holding all that evil inside? What does it? So this woman's cosmetically challenged. This would be Loretta.
Challenged.
Yes, cosmetically challenged. I mean, like I said, I got a face for radio. I got nothing to say, but boy. Yeah. So Loretta.
Wait. You know what that is? That is you acting responsibly, them acting irresponsibly. Okay. You recognize your you know what? So you decide
limitations.
Your limitations, and you act responsibly and go behind a microphone and not a you see it. No, never mind.
Anyway, State Senator Loretta Weinberg, who's a Democrat from Bergen, New Jersey.
Oh, crap.
She's introducing a bill to roll back the state's 13-year-old smart gun law that she said Second Amendment advocates have blocked from taking effect.
Oh, bull.
Law required New Jersey firearms dealers to sell only smart guns, but can only be fired by their owners 3 years after they're available in the market. So, if you have to force it on people, there's a reason why. They don't want it.
That's exactly right.
And the funny part is, they keep saying, "Oh, the NRA opposes smart gun technology. You guys oppose smart gun technology." No, none of us oppose the technology.
Are we locking down the technology?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's locked down. You can't find it. It's not that we're opposing the technology. We're opposing the mandate. It should be an option. You should be able to opt in or opt out. And it's just amazing. And it gets to be like the emperor's new clothes. Either you believe in this, or you're a terrible person who supports felonies and dead children and everything else. It's always been the progressive way. You agree with me, or you're a horrible person. I mean, if you oppose gay marriage, what do they call you? A hater. You might necessarily hate them. Yeah. There may be something about it you disagree with. Yep. Disagreement is good. It's okay to disagree. I'm okay with people disagreeing with my points of view on stuff. Happens all the time, especially in my own house.
That's them imposing. I don't know.
So this is, you know what? We think this is a good idea, so we're going to force it. We're going to make sure this is the only kind of gun. It's like, that's why you're not getting what you want. The technology is in its infancy. It is 20, 30, 40 years away from being anything you could possibly use.
And that's where I was going to disagree with you slightly.
Okay.
Is I don't oppose smart gun technology because it's being forced on me. I oppose smart gun technology because it sucks.
Right.
If smart gun technology actually was smart or good in any sense of the fashion, I would be interested in it. I mean, I think that, me, I like technology. But if you're going to show me smart gun technology that is iffy at best, and not only iffy at best, but requires too much fidgeting with. All you want to do is line up the front and rear on that target 250 yards away and hear it go ping when I hit it. I want to not fuss with my gun. You know what I especially don't want?
What?
I don't want to be sitting quietly in that placid range. You know how the range can be very, very placid and quiet and peaceful, and the life's worries disappear, kind of like fishermen. Fishermen go out, to have a couple beers and relax. I don't obviously have beers while I'm out there, but there's a piece to it. So if I'm sitting there at the bench, focusing on putting that next round next to the last one, what I don't want to hear is beep, 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 your chamber is open. Your chamber is open. And then try to figure out how to set the clock on the thing. I just don't want that. I want simple. I want peace.
Now, I want to share with you something. Okay, so they're back to pushing this again. It's funny because you know what the interesting thing is?
Chat says, when I feel unattractive, I just look up a Democrat congresswoman.
There you go.
There you go.
Yes. Anyway, it was like our tavern wenches. They were hot.
I know.
I can't even be around them because it's just creepy because of what I look like and what they look like. It's just, whatever. Anyway, moving right along. So here's the other thing. Now, just in the same newspaper, because I came from NewJersey.com.
Yeah.
There's an editorial. And what's interesting about this editorial is usually the editorial is signed by somebody.
Uh-huh.
This is the Star Ledger editorial board.
The board.
Yeah.
Okay.
No email, no person you can contact.
Yeah, they're hiding behind the council of they.
Yeah, but here's their this is November 9th this week, so it was right after the other article came out.
Okay.
Smart guns still face irrational opposition, but their time will come. And it's this whole thing about, let's see.
Debbie Wasserman, alligator.
The malignant profiteers who control gun groups give no sign they're willing to compromise on anything that might reduce their cache of death toys.
Oh, wait. Let me rephrase that for you. Repeat that for me again so I can get that again.
The malignant profiteers.
Okay,
who control...
the malignant profiteers that control smart gun technology will not allow for us to shoot in peace or something. That's what it is. I mean, remember we were just talking about how people like to use the force of government to force their product. Look at the insurance companies.
You know, it's unbelievable. They just rip into anybody who doesn't see the problem with this.
Yeah.
You know, where is it? The problem is that the NRA is largely irrational. It believes that gun-free zones promote massacres. Its solution to Sandy Hook was to arm the faculty. It marks shoot-'em-up apps to 4-year-olds. I don't know that that's true. It spends millions obscuring the fact that more guns equal more gun violence, which has been proven wrong how many times?
Over and over.
And it markets to those with an evanescent fear of a nosy neighbor or an abject dread of the zombie apocalypse.
Zombie apocalypse is just fun.
Yeah, but you know what the real catch to the Debbie Wasserman alligator?
Oh, you just caught that, did you?
Sorry, I keep looking over to my left, and now with the screens, with the new studio, the screen's closer, so now I have to squint to read it.
Oh, wait, stop everything.
What?
Gunny, I know you're listening, and yesterday was Veterans Day. Thanks, bro.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right, moving on.
Okay.
Back to the dumb effery.
So they get there and they talk about how this is irrational and you're irrational if you don't believe in this and you're against gun safety and everything else. Let me switch gears on an unrelated note. You want to hear an unrelated note?
Yeah.
Unrelated note.
Yeah.
So this is from the LA Times. This is in their op-eds. And I'm waiting for it to load.
I'm out of snark. I need more snark.
Monkey!
Monkey, where's my snark?
Editorial.
Yeah.
A hacked Jeep should be a wake-up call to automakers. Now, did you hear about this, Mr. Technology guy over there?
I probably have. Oh, wow. Did you know the cork on this Angel Envy has an angel's wings on the bottom of the cork?
Oh, look at that. That's pretty damn cool.
Sorry.
Wow, squirrel.
Anyway,
writer Andy Greenberg was speeding down the highway in a Jeep Cherokee. The radio started blasting hip-hop, the air conditioner unexpectedly turned on, the wipers activated, and then the SUV switched itself into neutral. Or rather, hackers on laptops miles away switched it into neutral. They later disabled the brakes so it ran into a ditch.
You know,
Now,
yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, I
So,
know where you're going with this.
explain to me how something with as many complicated features as a modern motor vehicle can be controlled by hackers, but a simple on-off radio control for a smart gun could not be.
The truth is that both can be.
If you ever look at one of your little any kind of little electronic toy,
Yeah.
and you flip it over on the back, it has that disclaimer from the FCC that says that this thing has been licensed by the FCC and it must accept all interference.
Yep.
It cannot create interference, must accept all interference, even if it creates undesired operation. Blah, 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 blah,
Yeah, exactly.
Government
Yep.
speak, government speak. It wasn't hacked. It was just haunted. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so here's the thing, and this is where my issue with the smart gun thing is. I can understand if you have small children at home and you'd like to have this firearm. I think it should be available to you because you would like to have it.
Let the market decide, and there will be people who want it.
Yeah, but forcing it down our throats is what's preventing the technology. And the catch is that now that they've done that, it's almost like when you're watching football and they have the false start. False start, 5-yard penalty, go back.
Right.
So, okay, well, they just showed you what they're going to do. They just jumped the gun, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so how is it that you can, and this has always kind of made me scratch my head when it comes, this is that two-stage thing I talk about.
Yeah.
Clearly, people can interrupt technology.
Yes.
So how is it that you're telling me that I'm a tinfoil hat irrational person for believing that the firearm can be rendered inert, but yet you can do that to a damn Jeep?
Yeah. Allow me to put my tinfoil hat on for a moment, if you
Okay.
would. I did a story a ways back about hacking cars.
Right.
And I framed it in terms of future headlining. We've done future headlines before.
Future headlines.
Okay. So this future headline was something on the order of 750 cars pile up. Hacker suspected. And the premise of the story is you get all these cars that are accessible through networks, and like you said, you can take over the power, the braking, the radio, all that.
Sure.
And a hacker sits on the side of the highway and just sets everybody's collision. Sets the how did I put it? The technology that they're trying to push makes it so that the cars will stay, say, 20 feet apart. If you can hack 400 cars in the highway to tell all the cars that they're actually 400 feet apart, they're going to try to close that distance, thereby creating a huge pileup. Because if they're only 20 feet away, they think they're 400 feet away, and they want to get closer, guess what's going to happen? They're all going to crash. The same thing can happen with smart guns. And here is my future headline with smart guns. Entire cities' firearms rendered useless by overhead drone broadcasting overpowering signal.
Yeah, you're incorrect, sir. That's not the future headline.
Future headline. Ready for this one?
El Presidente declares city perfectly safe.
There you go. Here's another future headline for you, and this one's going to scare the other side of this, okay? Future headline. Entire SWAT team wiped out by gang members who had illegal RFID jammer.
One of the things that's I kind of enjoy, my brother-in-law does drones, hobby drones.
Yeah.
He gets more into the racing drone. Have you seen these things? It's like the pod racers on Star Wars.
They're cool.
And I can't fly the damn thing to save my life, but he has goggles. And so he does first person flying in this thing, and it's like pod racing in Star Wars.
Wow, that's cool.
Oh yeah, and you see, because they have the lights on the back.
Yep.
So you can see the other ones where you're it's crazy stuff.
That's
but anyway,
cool stuff.
What was really funny was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, first Gulf War.
Yeah.
Or second Gulf War. Drones were the predator, this multi-billion-dollar UAV, and it could fly here and fly there.
But they're not anymore.
And it was going to be this great thing, and you had Airship 300 or 600, and you had all these drone and domestic surveillance drones and the government. And then all of a sudden, the technology sped up to the point where everybody can have a drone.
Yep.
$80 at Walmart will get you a drone.
$30.
$30.
You can get a drone for $30 now.
So what ends up happening is, and did you see the video of them flying it in the congressional chamber?
I have not seen that.
There was a video of the guy was trying to demonstrate it, and he just flew. Of course, it's it's a radio-controlled helicopter with four.
Yeah.
They just put a camera on it. I mean, we all saw this coming. I thought about it when I was a kid when I saw a little helicopter.
Concerts do it all the time.
Sure. So they flew this drone in with this camera in front of these, old geezer guys that run our country, sort of, and flew it around, and they're all just kind of noticing the fact that this drone thing, I mean, it's maybe the size of a dinner plate right now.
Yeah.
Think about this. 10 years from now, it's going to be the size of a bee, a bumblebee.
They technically already have that sort of thing, but
Sure.
not on the price point that you're talking about.
No, but it's going to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, it absolutely is. It will eventually get to the point where you can have, little grains of rice that are drones that can fly into wherever and broadcast video and audio.
Absolutely.
Or whatever.
So what's going on here is that the government got so interested in the technology for them to do what they want to do, they didn't realize it could be done to them.
That's true.
They did not stop to think about it. And it's the whole Jurassic Park Jeff Goldblum thing.
Right.
9 million years of evolution separate dinosaurs from man. We're so busy focusing on could we bring back the dinosaurs, we didn't stop to think if we should.
Have you seen the story?
And it's the same thing.
Because we're in a period of moral lag. Where we have this new shiny toy, but we don't know what the ethics are behind it. And have you seen the story recently where the guy shot the drone out of the sky? We've seen a lot of those.
Sure.
But this was one where the operator was flying to basically look at his daughter, right? And so they arrested him, and they took him to jail, and he went to trial, and they acquitted him.
Sure did.
Damn right.
Of course he did.
And
should charge the kid with the drone.
Yeah, you absolutely should. You know what? We're just about running out of time. I can't believe we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Well, this has been our Veterans Day episode. A little bit of bumps and bruises in the new
Broadcasting
studio.
live from our brand new studio.
Brand new studio. We're all sheetrocked in here. I think I'm going to have to take a piece of the sheetrock down just to get out.
Yeah, I was going to ask you why you sheetrocked over the door, but then I figured I don't want to complicate things.
Yeah, it's because I'm feeling pretty tonight. No, that's not why. Thank you, Gunny. I see you're in the chat. And by the way, to thank you, Gunny, for your service for our country.
Of course.
Again, I'll have to share with you later on the 7 ways not to thank a vet. It's hilarious.
Okay.
Don't take your clothes off and give it all to them. Things like that. Yeah, terrible.
I wasn't planning on it.
And to all of our Generation Snowflake listeners, get lost. Bunch of snowflakes. We like the Snark Brigade, the Snark Rangers, what else are we calling them?
Well, I like the Snark Rangers, and then everyone didn't like it, so then they became the Polite Socialites.
The Polite Socialites. They all work. Oh, we're getting an FU in the chat.
Wow,
anybody who's listening
who
don't know what we're talking about, go over to tavernkeepers.com and you can listen to us there. You can also catch us on Spreaker. You can also catch us on K98. Thank you, K98.
Yeah, we're going to have more
us.
about that coming up soon.
Yes, and
right after you tell me more about it. I'm always the last to know.
You got any final thoughts before
take us out?
Hey, just remember, no matter how bad things get, no matter how horrible it seems outside, just to keep your chin up, your boots on, and your powder dry. Good night, America.
You're listening to Rebooting Liberty Radio Network, compelling and entertaining talk.
Don't touch that dial.